Hello everyone, and welcome to the character appraisal of Tohsaka from the anime Fate Stay Night, not to be confused with the more recent Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. I shall go through my most prominent likes and dislikes and give a letter grade that takes all of these into consideration from my own point of view versus that voted on the poll I put up on Google+. So without further ado, let's begin. Fate Stay Night sees the events of the Holy Grail War, which is a form of Hunger Games. Only no game masters, to a degree, and only family politics are what really matter, with motivations for participation in the Holy Grail War being very varied and usually selfish. It sees the pairing of Magi Masters with servants in the form of heroes of old summoned to battle each other for the Holy Grail, which will grant the victors one wish. Well, this only after a lot of bloodshed and backstabbing, of course. Sounds good, right? Tohsaka is one of the Magi Masters and a supporting character in this iteration of the Fate series, and proves quite integral to the plot, helping it move forward while bringing a lot of sass and determination to the mix. She is the Hermione Granger of the anime world. Her intelligence, poise, and how she carries herself are really commendable. I know she is classified as tsundere by most, but I don't really think she strictly fits into this area, which I consider a reductive cliché overly used both in anime and by those who critique it. There are reasons for her being so uptight. Her life was not an easy one, as we saw her family fall apart little by little, starting with her sister and both her parents at different points, and all involving the Holy Grail. No wonder she has such an easily angered personality, and why she takes the events around the Grail so seriously.
You have to understand that when you're a Magus, your magic doesn't exactly belong to you. It's essentially the cumulative experiences of your whole family, passed down from one generation to the next.
With that in mind, her criticism of Shiro is what I would throw his way as well.
Unbelievable.
What do you mean?
It's just how sloppy that was. What, did I offend you?
So I screwed up, big deal.
He really is way in over his head, and you are left wondering why he is even there, and to take it a step further, why is he even the main character? I prefer characters who actively and thoughtfully reach for their goals, not ones like Shiro who seem to only survive on the power of stubbornness and determination with no real tact or gravity behind it. No shade on Naruto, Natsu, and the like either. I do like to see me some pleasant, even if ridiculous surprises, just not the Shiro kind.
You totally flashed me. You know that, right?
You are so dead.
What's her problem?
That idiot.
Her magical prowess and knowledge is very impressive, as she has shown herself to be very versatile in healing, attack, and defensive magic, and her powers have limits that are ascertainable and keep her believable. We also see that for all her potential, she still has the limitations of her heart and principles. This "she could but she won't" approach really helps in winning us over, as some of the sick things other participants of the war are willing to do or let happen are quite off-putting.
You're not even close, genius.
She has a strong sense of justice and is extremely brave. A Magi is usually one who stays in the shadows and relies solely on their magic to protect them when in danger. However, Rin has a more practical and adaptable approach to this. She has considered her weaknesses and consciously compensates for them regardless of the risk that may come her way.
It's my personal belief that if you have time to worry, then you have time to do something about it.
On a lighter note, she is vulnerable and open to the prospects of love, but never actually leans one way or the other. She is quite mature about her emotions and is willing to do the unorthodox without letting it leave a lasting impression. She is not tied down by the norms established by her society either, and knows how to keep the proper decorum, but still has her own thoughts on a matter like that of Shiro and the rules of the Holy Grail War, while acting unapologetically upon these rebellious thoughts.
That choice is mine. I still have plenty of those gems. There's no need for me to be stingy with them.
Alright, my only dislike is that she is undermined by the story, which just gets in the way at the worst moments for her. It's like when she does something great, the story looks away and downplays it. Shiro's story gets too much undeserved attention, and the relationship with the ill-chosen main protagonist becomes one that is only acknowledged when Saber is not around, as if she's some side chick or something like that. And yet, she does way more to move the plot along and is more on the ball than Shiro and Saber combined. They both just seem to be following along behind her and taking credit that is not theirs. Despite all this, she ends up being treated like a third wheel instead of the tritagonist she deserves to be. Maybe that is why we're given a version of the story with her being front and center in the form of Fate's Day Night Unlimited Blade Works, and it's well worth the watch. To conclude, Rin is a very savvy character who helps the story move along, even though she is underappreciated in order to make way for the strangeness that is Shiro and Saber's relationship.
I'm sorry.
She is a well-rounded, intelligent and resourceful character who has a very compelling personality, but we do not really get to see her live up to this massive potential. My only solace lies in Fate's Day Night Unlimited Blade Works. Like really guys, go and watch it. She's front and center right there. With all this in mind, I'm inclined to give her a B-.
I must say I'm surprised.
As she is a great character in of herself, but suffers from the story neglecting her and taking her for granted. But otherwise, I would have given her an A+. How's that? Alright, now for the Google Plus poll results. 17% gave her an A, 61% gave her a B, yay, I predicted it. 17% gave her a C, 6% gave her a D, and 0% gave her an E to an F. So I don't feel too bad about actually giving her the B-. And that's my video on Rin Tohsaka, guys. I surely hope that you will vote on future Google Plus polls and that you will like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.